I first started surfing when I was 8 years old. I got into it, my older brothers were surfers and my dad would surf as well. And they would go out, kind of like a boys thing, and they would leave me at home with my sister and my mom. I was like, Mom, this is boring. I want to go out, I want to surf, I want to do what they're doing, because I was that little sister that wanted to tag along with their older brothers. And she got me and my sister surf lessons. I had a great instructor. My first wave, he went small at first, he pushed me into it. We practiced on the beach how to stand up in like 4 steps, and I went through those 4 steps in my head and I was up on my first wave. And I was riding it all the way to the beach. I still remember my first wave with my instructor. He pushed me into it. It was at Freights Bay in Barbados. My mom was in a little tide pool on the beach and she saw me and I rode it as far in as I could and she was clapping for me. I still remember that memory. It was so sweet. My sister was out the back cheering me on as well. And I was so fired up. I just wanted to catch as many waves in that hour as I could. It was really a great feeling. And we went a couple times and then I was like, you guys have to take me now. And they took me on a couple surf trips, and after that it became a family thing. We'd go surfing on a weekend. We live in Barbados. It's an island, it's a beautiful island surrounded by point breaks. So that was the perfect thing to do on the weekend. We'd go, Mom would sit on the beach, she'd have her video camera, she'd be filming us, cheering us on, and we'd be out having fun as a family, pushing each other into waves, trying to better each other's waves and stuff. My name is Tuach and I'm a professional surfer. I've been surfing professionally for about maybe 3 or 4 years. I think I started when I was about 15. I went to my first international event, and I wasn't actually supposed to do the pro event. I was only supposed to do the amateur event. And when I got down there, I was with my guardian at the time, Alan Burke. He was an ex-pro surfer for Barbados in the 80s and 90s, and he told me that he believed in my ability, that I shouldn't be in just the amateurs, I should go into the pro. It was a little bit more money to get into, and the girls were definitely better, but the stakes were higher. I mean, winning an amateur event wouldn't even equal a quarterfinal in the pro event. So he's like, you can break through the roof. You don't push your limits. It's not winning an amateur event. It's not a big deal. My mom wasn't with me. I called my mom. I was like, should I go on the pro event? I'm not sure if I can win it. I don't know. Because I'd spent so much money to get to Cocoa Beach, so I wanted to do well. I wanted to have something to take back with me. And she's like, you know what? Do whatever you think is right. I'm leaving it out to you. If you want to do it, I support you. And Uncle Alan, he kept pushing me, and he's like, you have the ability, you can do it. And so finally, I told him, yes, okay, I'm gonna go in the pro, I'm gonna bite the bullet, I'm gonna do this. And I remember surfing a couple of rounds, making every heat felt so amazing. And I got to the quarterfinals, and it was a dream come true. I was like, well, I've done my job. I've made it to the quarterfinals. I've won back my money. I got some money that time too, and went out in the heat. Got to the semis, won my semi heat, and I was freaking out. Got to the finals, and I was like, oh, well, this is a dream come true. I'm in the finals, I'm gonna get a trophy. And they were calling out the scores, but in the final, you couldn't hear it. It was so windy that I didn't know what position I was in. I didn't know if I was first or last. And I just remember surfing my heart out, saying, there's nothing to lose. I just want to surf. I just want to surf my best and make the Barbadians on the beach proud. And I remember I caught some good waves and they were paddling for me, and I came in and I was like, I asked Uncle Alan, and I was like, how did I do? He gave me a big hug and he's like, you did amazing. No matter what place you did, amazing. That was awesome. That was definitely worth it. And I remember hearing the prize ceremony. No one knew, who won. And they called out fourth. It wasn't my name, and they were patting me on the back. They called out third, it wasn't my name, and then they always pause for second place. And my heart was beating so fast. And they were squeezing my shoulders, and they were like, I think you won, I think you got this. And they called out second place, and it wasn't my name, and it was the best feeling in the world to kind of push my fear aside and go for it, and to win the event. It was such an amazing feeling. I think that definitely pushed my surfing and pushed my belief that I could be a professional surfer. I could do this. I can compete with the best. My name is Chelsea Tuach and I want to be a world champion. Last week, my mom got an email from Jessie Miley Dyer. She's the world tour manager for the women. And she said that there was a possibility that I could get the wild card into the tour event at the US Open. And that was such a huge moment for me. What I needed to do, I needed to be the highest North American ranked girl on our qualifying series. And I was at the time, but there was one event to go, the Supergirl Pro. And I needed to finish above 2 other girls. And the 2 other girls were surfing really well, but I knew it was a tall task for them to pass me out. But it gave me so much more motivation to do well in that event. And I remember I got through a couple of rounds and I was against Silvana Lima in the round of 12. She's a world tour surfer and she is such a fierce competitor. She is so fast on the water and she surfs so good that it's such a nerve-wracking heat for me. But I went out there and I said, you know what? I can be as good as any of these girls. I just need to catch the waves and put the scores down. And I was doing all right, but I needed a score. It was 1 minute to go and she was sitting on me. She was shattering me so I couldn't get a wave. And I was sitting inside of her and she let a wave roll by. And I took it. I was like, this is my last chance. There's 30 seconds to go and I need to do it. And I surfed my heart out on that wave and I made it to the quarterfinals, which solidified my ranking as a top of North American. And I knew then that I would get the wild card into the US Open. And it was so huge. I was like, this is so amazing. This is what I've been working towards. This is a dream come true.
And a girl to watch out in the water right here, Chelsea Tuach, getting in as the WQS wild card, the highest ranked surfer in the North American ratings for the WQS, based off the results of the Supergirl, which finished on Sunday in Oceanside.
Surfing in my first championship tour event, it was such a surreal experience. I remember putting on the jersey. I had my coach telling me where to go, what to do. And I had my whole country behind me. Everyone was sending me notes on Facebook. And I remember paddling out. It definitely had jitters, but I was like, I pushed it all aside and I knew that I just had to do my best surfing and push my limits. And I went out there and I fumbled on my first 2 waves. I guess the nerves got to me. And I kind of paddled back out. I reset, pushed everything aside, and a great wave came to me. And I actually got a good score on it. As soon as I paddled back out, I got another score and I was leading the heat. And I kept leading the heat till about 5 minutes to go. And I was like, this is incredible. Even to match these girls, to not be combo, to not, to look like I was on their level was all I could ever ask for. It was so amazing to prove to myself that I could compete with the best. It sort of gave me more drive to compete in these last qualifying series event and to one day qualify for the World Tour and be there to stay. Surfing has a lot of sacrifices, it's a lot of hard times, it's a lot of training, but after a competition, when you get a good result or you come in from the water and there's little girls and little boys surrounding you saying, you inspire me, I love watching you surf, you did so great out there, just putting a smile on their face, putting on a show for the crowd on the beach, it's a really nice feeling no matter what I come in the contest. Making people smile and getting people excited to watch my surfing. It's a really great feeling. It makes it all worth it. All the training, all the hard work and stuff. Favorite kind of lunch? A flying fish sandwich. You may not have heard of it, but it's a Bajan tradition and it is amazing. We do like a bread batter and we fry it up and we put it in what we call a salt bread. It's kind of like a bun, but it is the most amazing thing you'll ever taste. And we put some cheese in there and a little Bajan pepper sauce. And I think it's my favorite thing in the world. I can't get it when I'm away, so every time I go back home, I think it's my first meal. Bajan is a short version of Barbadian. It's what we call ourselves. Bajans love to shorten their words. We're always going 100 miles an hour. Wow, the way we speak, the way we drive, the way we run, the way we do everything. We don't waste time. I like fast surfing, but also a lot of power, like real turns and sort of a flashy turn on the end. But the Brazilians, I like watching the Brazilian guy surfers because they're super quick. They're really, really fast and explosive. While in girl surfing, they say we look more like ballerinas. We draw our turns and we're very graceful on a wave, but we still have that power and we still can knock out some crazy good turns. So it's different, but I think I like a mix between the fast Brazilian surfing but also the elegant power turns.